It's 9:45 p.m. EAT on Saturday, June 28, 2025, and a chilling report has emerged from Gaza. Allegations claim that oxycodone, a potent, addictive opioid, has been found hidden in bags of flour distributed by US and Israeli-backed aid centers. This isn't just a logistical error. It's a potential scandal that could redefine humanitarian aid in conflict zones. Welcome to Mwaki Insights, where we dig into the stories the mainstream might overlook. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving deep into these shocking claims. The discovery itself, the context of Gaza's aid crisis, and the questions it raises about who's behind it. By the end, you'll see why this could be more than a mistake. It might be a deliberate act with devastating consequences. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our community of critical thinkers. Let's uncover the truth together. The allegations surfaced dramatically on June 27, 2025. Gaza's government media office issued a startling report. Oxycodone pills had allegedly been discovered inside flour bags. These bags, they claimed, were part of aid distributions managed by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, an aid operation backed by both US and Israeli entities. According to their official statement, at least 4 individuals residing in areas such as Nusayrat and Khan Yunis came forward with testimonies. These citizens reported finding the narcotic substance concealed within the humanitarian aid packages. Even more alarmingly, officials have warned of a potentially graver scenario. The drug might have been intentionally ground into a powder or dissolved directly into the flour itself. This claim, if substantiated, would point to a deliberate act of contamination, raising serious concerns about the safety and integrity of the aid being provided. Oxycodone is not just any painkiller, it's a potent opioid, typically reserved for managing severe pain, such as that experienced by cancer patients or those recovering from major surgeries. Its strength is considerable, approximately 1.5 times stronger than morphine, making it a highly effective but also highly addictive substance. The side effects are numerous and concerning, including respiratory depression, which can lead to slowed or stopped breathing, hallucinations, and the very real risk of overdose death. These dangers are amplified in a population already weakened by starvation and limited access to medical care. Local medical professionals, including pharmacist Omar Hamad and Dr. Khalil Mazen Abu Nada, have publicly condemned this alleged act as despicable, suggesting it could be a deliberate attempt to undermine public health and destabilize the social order. If you value in-depth, unbiased reporting on critical global issues, please take a moment to like and subscribe to Mwaki Insights. We strive to bring you the facts, analyze the context, and provide a platform for informed discussion. Also, we encourage you to participate in the poll below. Should the UN launch a full investigation into the alleged Gaza aid scandal? Your voice and your perspective truly matter in shaping the narrative and demanding accountability. The GHF, which began its operations in May 2025 following Israel's partial easing of its blockade, has already been the subject of considerable scrutiny. Concerns have been raised regarding its operational methods, which some critics describe as opaque, and the fact that it operates largely without direct oversight from the United Nations. It's important to note that these initial reports and allegations originate from Gaza authorities and local community members. As of now, no independent laboratory tests have been widely confirmed or made public, meaning that the full scope and veracity of these claims remain unverified. Nevertheless, the timing of these allegations, amidst a severe famine-like crisis affecting the region, inevitably raises pressing and urgent questions about the overall integrity of the aid being delivered and whether it is truly serving its intended purpose. To understand this allegation, we must delve into Gaza's dire aid situation, a crisis compounded by multiple layers of complexity and desperation. Since Israel's blockade tightened in March 2025, the flow of essential supplies has been severely restricted. This has pushed the territory toward the brink of famine, with the UN issuing stark warnings of catastrophic hunger affecting hundreds of thousands. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF, stepped in on May 27, 2025, after Israel allowed a limited resumption of aid deliveries. However, its operations have been a lightning rod for controversy from the outset. The UN and established aid organizations like UNRWA have refused to cooperate with the GHF, branding it a death trap due to safety concerns and lack of oversight. Disturbing reports from Haaretz on June 27 confirmed that Israeli soldiers admitted to receiving orders to shoot at unarmed civilians at these aid distribution sites, resulting in a staggering 549 deaths and over 4,000 wounded since the operations began. Aid distribution in Gaza has tragically become a battlefield, a chaotic scene where survival is a daily struggle. Crowds of desperate people, driven by hunger, face not just the scarcity of essential supplies, but also the ever-present threat of violence. The harrowing incident of the June 17th Khan Yunis shooting, where 51 lives were lost, starkly highlights the extreme peril faced by civilians seeking basic sustenance. Malnutrition, already widespread, further weakens immune systems, making the population even more vulnerable. In this fragile state, any drug contamination, whether intentional or accidental, becomes a potential death sentence for countless individuals. The GHF's lack of transparency in its operations, choosing to operate outside established UN channels, only fuels suspicion and distrust among aid organizations and the population it aims to serve. In this deeply vulnerable context, the claim of oxycodone contamination in flour bags takes on a far darker and more sinister hue. Whether the result of deliberate sabotage or a tragic error, the potential impact could be catastrophic for a population already teetering on the brink of survival. So is this a calculated act of malice or a tragic mistake born from chaos? Gaza authorities, including the media office, are steadfast in their accusation that it's deliberate, labeling it a heinous crime designed to spread addiction and destabilize society. They go as far as comparing it to historical instances of chemical warfare, a chilling parallel to draw. They hold the US and Israel fully responsible for this alleged act, pointing to the GHF's controversial role in the region and its history of aid distribution. Posts found on X echo this sentiment, with users decrying it as a soft weapon deployed in what they perceive as a genocidal campaign, especially given the staggering 56,300 Palestinian deaths since October 2023. The online outrage is palpable, fueled by grief and suspicion. The counter-argument, presented by some, centers on the possibility of a logistics failure. Aid chains operating in active war zones are notoriously error-prone and vulnerable. Mislabeling of supplies, opportunistic theft, or accidental contamination during transport or storage could potentially explain the presence of these pills. The GHF and IDF have vehemently denied any intentional wrongdoing, with the military promising a full and transparent investigation into the matter, though their track record of opacity in similar situations fuels widespread doubt and skepticism. Crucially, no independent lab has offered confirmation of the pill's contents yet, and the US government has so far remained silent on the issue, adding to the uncertainty. The stakes in this situation are undeniably high. If the introduction of these pills was indeed intentional, it constitutes a war crime, potentially demanding immediate scrutiny from the International Criminal Court. If, however, it was accidental, it exposes systemic and deeply concerning flaws in the current aid delivery system, highlighting the urgent need for reform. Either way, the persistent lack of transparency from the GHF, coupled with the documented violence at aid distribution sites, resulting in 549 deaths, suggests negligence at best, and a callous disregard for human life at worst. The international community must demand clear and verifiable answers before more innocent lives are tragically lost. The implications of this allegation are profound. Oxycodone in flour could trigger overdoses in a population already weakened by malnutrition. Respiratory failure could kill within hours, especially among children or the elderly. Gaza's health system, strained by 56,300 deaths and ongoing sieges, is ill-equipped to handle such a crisis. This also hints at a power struggle. Control of aid in Gaza, whether through GHF or UN channels, shapes who holds influence. The ICC's November 2024 warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant for war crimes add weight to claims of systemic abuse, making this a potential escalation. Posts found on X reflect global outrage, pushing for accountability. But there's hope. The UN and ICC could intervene, demanding independent tests and shutting down unsafe aid points. Citizens inspecting flour and reporting findings could force transparency. This could either deepen Gaza's tragedy or spark a justice movement depending on how the world responds. The choice is ours. Oxycodone in Gaza's aid flour could be a horrific abuse or a tragic error, but either way, it's a wake-up call. This could poison a starving population or expose a broken system, and the world must act. Share this video to demand independent investigations and safe aid. If you found this disturbing yet vital, like, share, and subscribe to Mwaki Insights. Vote below. Should the UN investigate? Thanks for standing with us, and I'll see you in the next truth-seeking journey.